I'm on the deck of Battleship Texas here in front of 4 of her 14-inch guns on turrets 1 and 2. At the time of commission, these were some of the biggest naval guns in all of the world. I'm Trevzor, and we're talking ship. We're here in turret number 1, like actually inside the turret. I'm here with Keith, and this is the business end of the ship, and it's super cramped. Keith, what goes on in here to make these giant 14-inch rifles work?
Well, you have about 70 men to run a turret with 2 guns. Inside this turret, on the lower level, and in here, there's about 18 men. The process is, after that they're out of the handling room, the projectiles are on a platform area above that, where they're pulled up into the turret by this cable right here. As the projectile comes up into here, it's released down into this tray, and then the sailors pull it over into this tray, which is all made of brass. It's brass because you cannot have a spark inside this room. Once the projectile's in the tray, they install the fuse on the nose end of it, and they remove the pad-eye, which is the hook that they use to raise the projectile up with. Then we have an electric motor that's a plunger that actually pushes the projectile the proper distance into the rifle of the 14-inch barrel. From that point, there are sailors in the lower part of this area where these holes are, and that's where the powder bags are brought up. Each bag is 105 pounds. The sailors push those bags up through these holes to the sailors inside the turret. They set the bag in the tray, and they use a wooden plunger with a brass ring around it to push the powder bags into the barrel. It takes 4 105-pound bags of powder to fire 1 projectile, and has a range of 12 miles. Once the powder bags are in place, they drop the tray, and then they grab the breech, which weighs 2,000 pounds. They slam the breech shut and lock it, and then the fire control captains lets the plot room where the guns are aimed know that the gun is ready to fire. The men back up towards the wall, away from the gun. The plot room aims it, hits fire, and the next time the ship goes level, the gun fires. The men inside this turret don't know when it's going off, but when it does go off, the entire gun kicks back 40 inches. Then it goes forward, and there's a burst of air that comes from this pipe here to clear out the barrel and anything that might be in it. Then they turn around, open the breech, raise up the tray again, and do it again. These men could fire 1 round every 45 seconds.
Wow, so the logistics of getting almost a 1-ton shell up here aside, these are 150-pound bags. 105-pound bags, sorry, 105-pound bags. And you're deadlifting those through that tiny hole?
Yes.
To be put up here?
Right, they're brought up on a lift, and then the guys in that hole actually push those 105-pound bags up through that hole to the sailors in here. And those sailors deadlift those bags onto that tray, and then they use a wooden plunger to push them up into the gun.
And you said that this whole turret had 70 men in it, so about 35 per gun.
Right, and that's from the bottom of the ship through ammo handle room, all the way up to the top of the turret.
How many people would we have in this compartment right here?
Between this lower level here and the powder guys and the guys in here, you'd have about 18 men. 18
men.
Right.
Now, there's you and me in here. We're pretty big dudes, but still, like, it's cramped.
Right.
What would you expect the battle conditions to be like in this? Like, you're rocking back and forth. You have a gun that's huge, and if it hits you, you're having a bad day. You don't know when it goes off. Like, this seems like probably the scariest part of the ship.
Yeah, but it's also one of the places, like with all the guns, it requires incredible teamwork. Everybody has to know what everybody's doing all the time, and once one person's done, the next guy's ready to go. That's the way they can do this every 45 seconds and get a round off.
That's very, very impressive. Now, you were talking about the handling room for a second. I know we're going to go down there soon, but you told us that they drag this shell up on this contraption and then put it onto this cradle. So it's point down.
Right.
when it's being, but it doesn't have a fuse, so that's safe.
Right.
Okay, so you just have a load of fuses somewhere in this place?
Right.
Wow.
And you'll see why when you go down to the ammo handling room. Look at the floor.
Okay.
Look at the dents.
Okay.
You'll
That
see
sounds
why
terrifying.
the fuse is not on when it's down there. This in the New York were one of the last battleships to store their projectiles nose down and bring them up on a cable like this.
Wow, that's all right. So we had to come through a really small hatch. Let's put it that way. And
Right.
again, like we're not the smallest people in the world. Is that the only way you're getting into this turret?
No, you can actually do a turret climb from the ammo handling room all the way up into the turret.
Okay.
And you can do that on any one of these turrets.
Is
The ammo handling room is about 6 stories below us.
wow. And so, which would be your preferred route?
I'd rather come through the hatch.
But even during combat, you know, things might be getting a little wild.
It depends. I mean, the average height of a sailor in World War I was like 5'7".
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm 6'1", and I run into everything all the time.
Yeah, I'm 5'10" and I have a problem, so I
Right.
can totally understand that at all. I guess my last question is, the absolute logistics of this gun have to be amazing. Can you give us like some insight on how much just this one rifle would weigh, and what it would take to get it onto this ship?
This gun itself, I do not have the specifics on how much the gun actually weighs. I know it can fire more than 100 rounds before they need to replace the lining of the gun,
Okay.
the rifling of the gun. The projectiles themselves, there's 2 types. There's a high explosive, which is 1,250 pounds, and there's an armor piercing, which is 1,500 pounds. The armor piercing round can actually go through 13 inches of armored steel.
Wow. So you have to service this gun, take it apart, take pieces out of it, which can't be light at all, and you have to do that about every 100 rounds?
100 to 150 rounds is what I've read.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a marvel in and of itself. That's fantastic. If you had one thing in this turret that is like your absolute most interesting piece that like interests you the most, what would it be?
In the turret, the fact that they have to do everything by hand, from rolling the projectile onto the tray to manhandling 405-pound bags of powder and manually shutting a 1-ton breech. I think that's pretty incredible.
That is pretty
Nothing
incredible.
is automated in here at all.
That's amazing, and this is like how all of these New York class ships worked. There was no automation. It was just
Right.
raw manpower.
Right. Yeah, the later ships built in the 20s and 30s, you see the films where the powder is automatically dumped onto the tray and automatically pushed into the gun. And none of that happened here.
So these sailors had a rough life.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for the information, Keith. Thank you. This is the best part of the ship, in my opinion. I think it's the coolest. So thank you again for all this great information, and thank you guys for watching. This is this weekend. Thank you guys there. Good luck, fair seas, and we'll see you out there. Remember, everybody, Battleship Texas needs your help.
Yes, come visit her or go to our website, battleshiptexas.org, battleshiptexas.org.